Hello students, today we will talk about a new chapter here in our class. Today we will be talking about chapter number 5 that is entitled as the topic is the crisis of our constitutional order. A crisis of the constitutional order. We are talking about Indian Constitution. And here in this chapter, we are going to totally learn about the emergency period, that is from 1975 to 1977. Period of emergency 25th June 1975 lasted till 21st March 1977. That is 21 months in total. This emergency was declared by Mrs. Indira Gandhi under her prime ministership. And then there were so many unconstitutional things that were happening. There were many crises, lots of unconstitutional thing that was happening in the country, and that makes our constitutional face a very tough situation during this period of time. That is 1975 to 1977. So here during this period, the civil servants, they just become a puppet into the hands of, or the plaything into the hands of the political masters, forgetting even that the commitment they have towards the constitution and the people of the country. What is committed bureaucracy and committed judiciary? Now, before we know what is committed judiciary and what is committed bureaucracy, we'll first know who are the bureaucrats and who are the judiciaries. Bureaucrats means we are talking about the government officials, any government officials who are being appointed through exams or through their competitive exams or through different means. But they are called the bureaucrats, those who function inside the office. And then judiciary, we are talking about those judges of the High Court or the Supreme Courts. Those are called the judiciaries in general. So here, committed judiciary and committed bureaucracy, it is referring to the system where judiciary and bureaucrats are to function in accordance to the programs and policies of the particular party which is in power. It's not talking about all the parties, but it's talking about those party, the particular party which is in power. The bureaucrats and the judiciary should function according to their programs and policies that has been imposed or laid down by the party which is in ruling power. Now under this period 1975 to 77, in Mr. Indira Gandhi's leadership, they started searching for committed bureaucracy. Now, like I've told you, who are the bureaucrats, so I don't need to go back there again. However, in multi-party system or democratic multi-party system like India, all the civil servants they should have a neutral character. It is very essential, it is very important for the civil servant to keep away from any political party influence. They should not favor any political party. They should rather feel committed towards their post, towards their table, towards their constitution, not to the political parties. And it is very important for them to be committed to the policies of the government, but not to the man who is in authority or who is in power, because it will prove more dangerous. The ministers, the MLAs, the political executives, they can easily control them if they started committing themselves to the man in authority and not towards the policies and programs of the government. So they are expected to be neutral in character. They have to have a neutral character in them. And then what was the role of political executive and the permanent executive? Now, who are political executives? Political executives, we are referring to those ministers and MLAs or whoever it may be, elected through political means or election. Permanent executive, we are talking about those people, candidates who have passed through exams or those who have been appointed into the office. They are known as the permanent executives. I think you have got the difference between the political executive and the permanent executive by now. Political executive is talking about the ministers, and then they make policies in the form of laws passed by the parliament. They are the one who make the laws. And then permanent executive, the civil servants, they are to execute the law made by those permanent executives. Okay, till 1960s, the two maintained, the two means the permanent executive and the political executive, they had a very good relationship, very healthy relationship between them. But in post 1967, after 1967, there were lots of politicization of administrations by the politicians. The politicians, they started involving into the administrations or into the administration fields. Okay, why then? Why, you may ask, why there were civil servants? They have passed through exam, they have been appointed through fair means. Then why they have to be under the control or being obedient to their political masters or political leaders? Now here is a very good, clear reason. These ministers or these political executives, they started using the power of posting, transferring, or denial of promotions to those civil servants or those permanent executives who are not willing to obey them. So they don't want to get punishment by these political executives, so they have to be under the control of these political executives. That is one of the big reasons and the issue that is still happening here in India. Okay, then what is this committed judiciary? Okay, regarding this committed judiciary, why this Mrs. Indira Gandhi and her party started searching for a committed judiciary is there are lots and lots of reasons out here. So let's see what is the reasons, or what are the reasons. They have a conflict, they have lots of conflict with the judiciary. First, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, she was not happy with the Allahabad court when her vote was, or her election was nullified by the Allahabad court. And then slowly again in the coming year they have a conflict with this judiciary. So let's see what are the conflicts. There was a conflict between the parliament and judiciary, like in the case of Galak Nath case 1967, basing on the fundamental right, that is right to property under Article 19. However, please keep this in mind, right to property is no more a fundamental right, it has been a civil right, and then it was removed by 44th Amendment as a fundamental right, and it is now only a constitutional right under Article 300. Now the government, they started having a this Galak Nath case, it was about the owning of a property. Those individuals who have lots of property, the government wanted to seize, but then the court said it is a fundamental right of a person to own the property, so nobody can define it, the constitution law. And because of this thing, this is one of the reasons why there was a conflict between them. the parliament and the judiciary. Okay, the second case was the Keshavananda Bharti case in 1973. Even this was related to the fundamental rights of owning the property. Now, Indira Gandhi's government, they were reshaping, they were remodeling all the constitution, around the constitution, according to their own comfort. So here, when the judiciary started having conflict with the parliament, they passed the 24th amendment. They passed the 24th amendment, and then which gave the authority under this 24th amendment. The authority was given to the parliament to amend, to change any part of the constitution if it is needed. And then even here in this case, in Kesavananda case, Bharti case, even under this, or even talking about the 24th amendment which was passed by the parliament, the court ruled out that parliament can make laws, they can make any kind of rules and regulation, but parliament had no power to alter the basic structure of the constitution. The politicians, the bureaucrats, the political executives, or the parliament, those people, they cannot change or alter the basic structure of the Indian constitution that has been made for the people. So even in Kesavananda Bharti case, 1973, it talks about related to the right to property. So all these things, there was a conflict between judiciary because of all these things. So what is this basic structure, doctrine of basic structure? Okay, clearly written there, doctrine of basic structure is an Indian judicial principle which had clearly highlighted that certain provisions of our constitution are basic in nature and cannot be altered or destroyed through amendment. Now every amendment cannot change everything. It's not possible that way. The court has ruled out. And so due to the conflict between the executive and the judiciary, it undermined the independence of judiciary. Judges were suppressed by the political executives, and then because of all this reason, some few judges, they were suppressed. Though they were senior, they were neglected, and then suppressing 3 of them, A.N. Ray was appointed as the Chief Justice, though he was not supposed to be a Chief Justice of India, because there were still 3 senior or ahead of him. But since they had a conflict with the political executive, these judges, they were not given the opportunity to be appointed or to be promoted, and so A.N. Ray was appointed as a Chief Justice. Now, however, this government, all these things were happening under the leadership of the Congress government. So people were thinking, is the Congress government searching for a committed bureaucracy who will be committed to them or to the constitution? Whether they are searching, the people, they feel that the Congress government, whether they wanted this committed judiciary who is committed to the constitution or to the person who is in power. People were confused with that. Okay, there's another new topic here. All this related to the emergency. These cases leading to emergency. The first one is the Bihar movement. It was also known as a total revolution. So in short, it started in 1974 against the corrupt and unemployment in Bihar. It was led by Jaya Prakash Narayan, also known as JP in short. JP called for total or comprehensive changes in social, economic, and political scenario of the nation. So it started in Bihar, but then J.P. Narayan, he started leading people, and then he want the whole of India to be changed politically, socially, and economically. That was the Bihar movement. Another one is the Gujarat movement. Navnirman, sorry, there is a spelling mistake there. Navnirman movement, that is reinvention or reconstruction movement in English, if we translate. Navnirman movement. So what is this Gujarat movement? Started in the year January 1974 by the student of LD College of Engineering. They invited J.P. Narayan to lead them. So J.P. Narayan became the leader again here, even in the Gujarat movement. Now, what was the cause of this Gujarat movement? It was because of the rise in the price of the food grains in the hostel. Now, students, they were not satisfied. They were not happy about the food rise, the price rise of the food grains in the hostel. So this Gujarat movement, it led to the downfall of the Congress government, which was in the power under the leadership of Chiman Bhai. And I think this is the only revolution, or this is the only movement, protest, which has resulted in the resignation of the running government that was in power. This was the only situation that happened in India, which resulted in the dissolution of the parliament that was in power. So that's all for today. I hope we have learned something new, and we will meet you in the next class. Thank you.